Well, welcome back everybody. My name's Andrew and you're watching the Kelley's Country Life. And I am dressed looking ridiculous today because I don't really care. It is burning up hot. We have decided to stay home. It's the weekend. Typically we try to go enjoy ourselves because this yard looks so stinking bad. I mean, I'm in flip-flops, radio clothes. I'm about to get dirty. I'm about to get hot. We have got to mow because this week, by the time you're watching it, it's already this week, I have got to focus on finishing getting this house dried in. We're starting to see some tropical disturbances out there, so got to get my butt in gear, rain or shine, and just risk it. But I've got to get this off my list. So today, I haven't done a mowing video in a while. We're going to do a little mowing, see if my buddies, the birds, will show up and try to get y'all a little bit of time-lapse footage of clouds and anything else, although I don't really see any. It's baking hot, y'all. Let's go do a little mowing. So never a dull moment down around here. Just mowing. Tiffany comes running outside and my pressure relief valve is blew out. Check this out. Over 100 PSI. My points have welded together and my pump did not cut off. We got to get some pressure relieved ASAP. Over 100 PSI on all this stuff. This is dangerous right now. So I might as well take the time to make this a teaching moment. By the way, breaker is thrown, power is off, so we're good there. If you're not comfortable with electricity like this, do not attempt this. Call a qualified electrician. But there's a lot of people that watch the channel. I get emails and comments all the time of people that are thinking about moving out to the country lifestyle and have zero experience with things like this. So it's a great teaching moment. So there is a pump way down in this well casing. Actually, it's over 100 foot down. This well's 160 foot deep, and it pumps water up, pressurizes that casing, pushes that water through here. It comes up this tube. This is called a pressure switch. So based on how you set this spring tension, the water pressure pushing back against it will actually flip these points off and on. They're spring loaded. So when the pressure gets up and it can override the spring tension, it'll kick the points back where they won't make contact. When the pressure drops in the tank because you're using water inside, the points make contact and hook these wires together to energize the pump. It's a very simple system, and usually I have no problems with it other than the fact that ants for some reason are drawn to electricity and love to get in around these points and fry them up. They actually did not weld together today, so something around the spring tension did not work, or the little mechanism here. I'll constantly have to spray stuff in here and it may be corroded just because the ants for some reason love that electricity and that electrical field. So it is time to replace this pressure switch because obviously it did not work and just caused a very dangerous and potentially very expensive situation for us. So imagine being gone on vacation and that fell like that, and this stays here for days and days running 100 PSI. Eventually you're going to have a line blowout. It could have been in the camper, it could be inside your house, all kinds of things like that. That's a scary situation when you think about it. So whenever we go on vacation, I always try to make it a habit of throwing the pump breaker off in case something like that fails. That way only but so much water can make it somewhere. Luckily for me, I also keep an extra set of points or a pressure switch. It's relatively cheap, $25, because these wear out so common on us due to bugs. Welcome to Florida, welcome to ants. So luckily, here it is a Sunday. Things always happen after hours or on the weekend, and I had nowhere I could run other than driving a long ways off to a big city to find one of these. So I always keep one of these around. It's relatively simple to change it out. Let's do it. So now the moment of truth. I have a big drain line open. We're gonna flip the breaker on, make sure the pump runs, slowly close that drain line off and kind of build up pressure throughout the system. And we'll leave faucets and everything else running so we don't build up a tremendous amount of pressure. And I have to go check everywhere for leaks now. All right, well, I hear the pump running, so that's good. I'm seeing a leak here out of this bleeder valve, but it may need some pressure on it first. Let's close the system up and check everything. Make sure our pressure relief valve seals off too now. I may need to replace that since it's been activated. All right, we'll go ahead and close this off, start building up some pressure in the system. You can hear the air bleeding out now. There's a special bleeder valve right here, so the tank actually fills up with water to right here. This seals off, and then the rest of this is air pressure. You've got to have a certain amount of compressed air in there to push the water out of the system. Off, we're at 60 psi. This is like a 30 to 60 or 40 to 60 pressure switch right here. So it kicks on the low end at 40 psi, kicks off on the upper end at 60 psi. So what we'll do is watch this for a minute, and if it starts really bleeding down bad and kicking the pump back on, we know we've got a major leak somewhere. It could be even a line blown out underground, and that could be a major problem. So right now it's settling out, looks like about 58 psi. Don't hear nothing sucking air anymore. So I'm gonna go walk every pipe, check for leaks, and then come back and see if this has dropped any. Well, good news, I just did a full walk around. We only had one failure that I can see. Now keep in mind, there's hundreds of feet of line that runs underneath the ground that I have no earthly idea about. And that was a fitting that goes into the camper. There was like a plastic hose bib on the outside and it split it. I mean, over 100 psi is asking a lot. Luckily, I've already bypassed that fitting. We can still get water into the camper, no issues. I don't see any leaks on the factory camper plumbing, nothing inside. So fingers crossed and thank the good Lord. It appears we don't have any more damage than we do. Now I did relieve some pressure off, so I need to pump this pump back up again to 60 psi, and I'll watch it throughout the day, especially as I'm mowing. If I see any leak down, I've got to start really looking and potentially start looking for wet spots under the ground. But let me show you the way this works, the way the pressure switch kicks on, then we're gonna get back to mowing. All right, so I'm gonna relieve the pressure here by spraying. And if you watch this tank pressure drop, it's gonna take it a minute. Probably when it gets down, it's either 40 or 30, you'll see those points make contact down there, because then the spring tension overrides the water pressure and it'll make contact. There's little golden points that you see. There it is. So it's a 40 psi pressure switch. Now watch how quick this pumps up. It's a very powerful 1.5 pump. As soon as we get to 60 psi, it will override again and release. The water pressure is higher than the spring tension. Watch it. And there it is. That's the way a pressure switch works. All by spring tension. Very basic, simple design. First time I've ever had one really fail in that regards. So thank goodness for this relief valve. It really did its job today and saved me. It says it relieves at 75 psi, so that's interesting because this joker was pegged over 100, but I think the pump was still engaged at that time too. So this was doing all that it could. 75 psi sounds good, but because now I'm questioning if this didn't relieve till too late, I'm going to order one of these and replace this as well. All right, well, we have got this wrapped up. It took me about 8 hours to get this place mowed. I still have not even got the weed eating done. I still have a lot more stuff to do. I just have to catch it tomorrow. I just jumped off the tractor because in about 20 minutes our live stream starts. I got to go throw on some clothes, get the computer and everything set up, and get ready for that. Typically I don't do work like this on the weekends, but with Mother Nature here lately, all the rain, when you finally find one dry day, I have to take advantage of it and do the mowing, and that just happened to be today. Thank y'all so much for watching. We'll catch you on the next video.